The white-haired boy gritted his teeth, annoyed that his pursuer just wouldn't let him go. He tightened his grip on his weapon, refusing to back down. The enemy quickly barked an order, summoning the ghost guard to block his path. The clash was immediate. The ghost guard's flaming blades struck down in rapid succession, forcing the boy to parry each attack with sharp precision. Sparks burst in every direction as steel and fire collided again and again. But while the boy fought defensively, another figure stood with complete confidence. The red-haired man, flames burning along his weapon, looked at the battle with a smirk. He mocked the attempt, saying that if this was all his enemy could muster, then it wouldn't be nearly enough. Without hesitation, he advanced. Fire swirled around his arm as he channeled his power into a devastating technique. In the next instant, his aura expanded, fusing with the energy of his dragon pet. Together, they unleashed a strike called Cut the Sky, a coordinated double blow wrapped in dragon aura. The force of the combined attack tore through the Ghost Guard's defenses in a brilliant explosion of light and shadow, shaking the battlefield. The black-haired fighter smirked confidently, declaring that no one could stop him. As his aura surged, the system activated a powerful ability Soul Shock. Dragon aura gathered in layers, each one stacking higher as his energy built up. A blinding green light spread across the battlefield as the skill charged. His dragon, Xiao Fei, roared in sync with him. Without hesitation, he gave the command for complete elimination. The dragon responded instantly, releasing waves of destructive energy that shattered everything in its path. The system reported the progress 8 layers had already formed, and the aura was still building. The brilliance of the attack overwhelmed the battlefield, making escape nearly impossible for anyone caught in its range. Meanwhile, the white-haired boy watched in frustration as his summoned guard collapsed under the force of the attack. He cursed its weakness, furious that it hadn't lasted even a second against such overwhelming power. The white-haired boy was caught off guard as a dark shadow suddenly appeared behind him. The system revealed the skill Shadow Strike, a stealth ability that teleports to the enemy's weak point and delivers a devastating blow. Before he could react, the attack pierced through him with crushing force. The onslaught didn't end there. Another system prompt triggered Shadow Invasion. After the first strike, an additional attack followed, delivering even more damage. The boy's body trembled as he realized he had no chance to resist. Wounded and desperate, he collapsed to the ground. With blood on his face, he stretched out his hand, begging for mercy. His voice shook as he pleaded to be saved, admitting that he didn't want to die. Standing tall before him, the black-haired man remained silent, his dragon looming menacingly behind him. His cold gaze made it clear who held the power now, while the boy's desperate cries echoed hopelessly in the dust-filled air. The black-haired man clicked his tongue, mocking his opponent's pitiful state. He remarked how much more entertaining the boy had been back when he was arrogant and full of pride. Now, watching him crawl and beg was nothing but pathetic. The white-haired boy, bloodied and desperate, pleaded for his life. He shouted that he was the second young master of the Ning family, trying to use his status as a shield. He promised wealth and rewards if only his life would be spared. But the black-haired man showed no interest in his bargaining. Instead, he calmly turned to his dragon. With a cold command, he ordered Xiao Fei to summon the fallen corpse Holy Dragon. Light burst from the summoning as the mighty dragon appeared, its aura shaking the ground. The white-haired boy's eyes widened in shock, unable to believe what he was seeing. As the dragon's power filled the air, he trembled, realizing that escape was no longer possible. The black-haired man's expression turned cold as he gave his command he would turn the white-haired boy into nothing more than a new puppet. The boy's eyes widened in horror. He screamed that killing him would bring disaster, warning that the Ning family would tear his enemy apart for this. In desperation, he even invoked his sister's name, vowing she would never forgive such an act. But his pleas went unheard. Dark energy coiled around his body as the system activated corpse manipulation, a technique that could control and transform fallen corpses into puppets. His resistance was crushed as the shadows consumed him, forcing his body into submission. The boy let out a final, agonized scream, but the outcome was already decided. His fate was sealed, his life stripped away, and his existence reshaped into a puppet bound to the fallen corpse holy dragon. Dark shadows coiled tightly around the boy's body until his screams were drowned out. When the energy settled, he no longer looked human. His eyes glowed faintly, his movements stiff, transformed into a puppet under complete control. The system confirmed his new state, listing his identity as Ning 2, Fallen Corpse Puppet Master Level 103. The description revealed that this ability could strengthen corpses, summon them as puppets, and even create an organized puppet army. The black-haired man studied the information carefully. He noted with interest that all of the enhancements applied to puppets as well. If strengthened further, and if every fallen corpse was converted, they could form a powerful puppet squad under his command. Just as he considered the potential of this new ability, someone suddenly called out his name, Lu Fan. His focus shifted, but the weight of what he had just gained was undeniable. The black-haired man turned and greeted his senior sister, who appeared at his side with her weapon in hand. She glanced at the scene and noted how decisive and ruthless he had been, killing the Ning family's young master without hesitation. Looking at the puppet, she remarked that he was a level 100 expert, and letting someone like that go to waste would have been foolish. She acknowledged the choice as practical, though brutal. The man then considered the potential of his new ability, explaining that buffs could also be applied to puppets. He wondered aloud if some corpses could even be transformed into human form puppets, strengthening their forces even further. His senior sister agreed, praising the idea and saying it wasn't bad at all. With a smile, she added that crushing a so-called noble family like this had been something she had wanted to do for a long time. When he asked about her condition, she responded confidently that she was perfectly fine, her tone full of assurance. The two stood side by side, their partnership stronger than ever in the aftermath of their ruthless victory. The white-haired woman admitted that her injuries had been severe, but Xiao Fei's healing had worked wonders. Aside from some lingering fatigue, she assured him there were no serious problems. Satisfied with her recovery, the black-haired man smiled and declared that it was time to begin. He hoped the outcome of their next move wouldn't disappoint. With that, he gave the command. A golden dragon loomed overhead as he ordered the summoning of more puppets. Immediately, the air grew heavy with energy as corpse manipulation activated once again. One after another, figures emerged, dark, twisted forms bound by crimson energy. The newly created puppets stood ready, their presence adding a chilling force to his growing army. The black-haired man gave the order, commanding Ning 2 to take control of the puppets. Dark energy surged from Ning 2's body, his glowing eyes locking onto the corpses around them. At once, the fallen figures stirred, rising under his command as they transformed into controllable puppets. One after another, shadows wrapped around the corpses, binding them to his will. The battlefield that had been littered with lifeless bodies was now filled with soldiers reanimated into a puppet squad. His senior sister watched in astonishment. She realized that by giving commands to Ning 2, he could control the entire puppet squad indirectly. Shocked, she exclaimed at the effectiveness of the ability. It meant he had gained not just one puppet, but an entire army through Ning 2's control. The black-haired man smirked, his eyes glinting with confidence as he revealed there was still more to show. With a commanding voice, he gave the order, amplify. Immediately, the puppets surged with power. A dark energy erupted around them, strengthening their bodies and weapons. Their aura intensified, and even their movements became sharper and more lethal. The air trembled as the puppet squad, now amplified, stood like an unstoppable force. Warriors who had once been mere corpses now radiated overwhelming strength. Their attacks multiplied and their presence magnified. The system revealed the effect. Each puppet received an increase in attack power, making them even more dangerous. These enhancements could not be undone or dispelled by ordinary means. Only the puppet master himself had the authority to remove them. With this, the black-haired man's army of puppets evolved from terrifying to nearly invincible, a force that struck fear into anyone who witnessed their might. The man explained that as long as the puppets weren't completely destroyed, the dark lines within them would allow their bodies to reassemble. His senior sister's eyes widened in amazement as she realized the true scale of his power. She pointed out that in one hand he now wielded a puppet army forged from 9 realm demons, while in the other he commanded a squad of 4th-tier experts. With this combined strength, she declared, anyone who dared to oppose him would be utterly crushed. The man crossed his arms with a confident smile, stating that with such a lineup, not even the Ning clan or any other so-called noble family would be able to stand in his way. Then, with bold determination, he vowed to make the Yi family the premier clan of the western region. Since he was entrusted to speak for them, he would elevate their name to new heights. His words carried absolute conviction, and his younger companion cheered with a bright smile, fully believing in him.
This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.